Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to the Intuitive Healing channel on Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sara Jane, and I am delighted to be joined by Pamela Cummins this evening because it's evening for me. For our program, Pamela, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here with you, Sara.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Now, Pamela is going to be sharing with us guidance from your dreams. So, dreams. Do you all dream? Apparently we do. I just wish I could remember mine. But Pamela, please share a little of your story, how dreams became, I'm assuming, so important to you that you've obviously gone out and learnt a lot about them.
Well, I'm one of those people who do remember my dreams most times. I mean, there are times I don't, but I do remember most of my dreams, from the silly ones like I need to find a toilet and I can't find one, to really deep ones that have stayed with me for my whole life. And like so many people, I didn't understand them. I thought they were silly, but how it came down to my healing. Okay. And I was going through a really rough time, and I went to 12-step programs. I got involved in therapy. But the reason I did that is because my dreams started getting really intense. And I'm not going to go into the details, but I needed to heal some childhood wounds. And my personal opinion is that we never heal ourselves completely. We just go deeper and deeper and deeper until it's easier. And dreams were a big part of that. So I found a therapist who worked with dreams, which a lot back then, not so many did. And she helped me with my dreams. She helped me to understand the symbolism in them when they seemed like they didn't make any sense. And after a while working with her, what happened was that my psychic abilities came out. Okay. My intuitive stuff came out because first I was having precognitive dreams, which are dreams of the future, and a lot of spiritual stuff. And then it came out into waking life. So since my dreams helped heal me so much, I wanted to share it with the world. And I guess that's just a little snapshot of my story.
And healing past events and traumas and whatever is really important for all of us. So if people have got dreams that are happening to them on a regular basis, and because I suppose I do hear some people say, oh, I keep having the same old dream. And I'm assuming that's just, is it your whether it's your soul, whether it's your heart, whether it's your psyche, whatever it is, just trying to get your attention.
Yeah, and there's different types of dreams. Okay, like recurring dreams, like PTSD dreams which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, and that can happen from childhood stuff, being obviously the military. A lot of people in the military have that. Volcanoes, tsunamis, you're a victim of crime. Those tend to be more about the actual event, even if they're symbolic, while recurring dreams are a little different. They're more like issues that are happening in your life. For instance, a childhood friend of mine used to always dream that she couldn't cross over a bridge and she couldn't get to the other side. So that's a little different than dreaming about being in war, and shooting up people. That's more of a memory. But recurring dreams obviously are there to get your attention, like, hey, you got some stuff you need to work through. If you want a better life, you can keep doing this, doing the same thing over and over and over. But if you want true happiness, you got to go through this little pain to get to the other side. And let me tell you, if anyone's listening, it's worth it to get to the other side because there's so much more freedom.
And I think you've got to realize is people will be listening to this, even if they're not here right now. they will be listening to this.
I
And
meant,
so
yeah, I meant, whoever, if it affects you, because it's not going to affect everybody. So
yeah, oh, absolutely. And people like me who just don't remember their dreams, period. I wish I could. But one of the comments you made in the sort of the write-up was how to remember your dreams. But yes, I struggle with that one but maybe you've got some suggestions you could make to people.
Yes, I do. First of all, like anything else in life, it's intention. Okay. So if you're intending to work out at the gym the next day, it's a good idea, instead of rushing around in the morning trying to find your outfit and everything else, just to have it there get it together and then put it by the door so you don't forget it, or put it in your car, however you're traveling, have it so you can snatch it real fast. And it's the same thing with dreams. Have some kind of recording device, or a journal, or whatever, your phone, whatever makes you happy. But again, it's intention. And an old technique is to write yourself a letter, handwrite. I don't know if anybody does that anymore, but handwrite a letter and put it underneath your pillow. But what I find very helpful is to say it over and over again before you go to sleep. As you put your head on the pillow, I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams, over and over. Or if you want to, you can just write that, or visualize it before you go to bed. Sit down, close your eyes, visualize yourself, going to bed, waking up, and then writing down your dream. Now, this can happen the first time you do it, or you might need to continue doing it for 90 days. So, but the thing is, when you wake up, write down a little bit, and I just a little, I do have a free gift package on my website, and in there is a little guide and a meditation if you need the extra help. But you can do it just like anything else. It's just practice.
So you mentioned a letter. Now, is that a letter you're writing to yourself? What's the type of thing you put in that?
It's writing to I want to say your subconscious, your dream mind. It's writing that. It's kind of like, you send yourself an email. I do this. Send myself an email, or write down to do something. And there's the power of writing it down, or sending. You could send yourself an email. I will remember my dreams. It's the power of sending it out. You will remember to do something more than you're like, oh, I'll remember that, because you're not going to remember it. Okay? No matter what it is, you're not going to remember it. Yeah. So I think it's kind of like putting your clothes by the door if you're going to work out.
Yeah. No. Oh, seriously, I have everything ready for breakfast for the morning. Yeah. I have my clothes sorted out, what I'm going to be wearing for the day. I do that the night before.
Right, because then it's the intention of doing it. Just like we need shopping lists, our little to-do list, our gratitude.
I do those every day.
I even have a little hair journal. What products I used, what the temperature, because I live in North Carolina in the USA, and it gets really humid. So I can judge what products to use on a humid day, what products not to use. But there's something powerful about putting it out there. It's like a goal. You will remember your dream. Keep doing it. And sometimes you have to do it over and over again. Like for you, it's a habit to put out your clothes for the next day, what you're going to do for breakfast.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So it's a bit like an affirmation, really, that you're saying.
Exactly. And that's why I personally like, I will remember my dreams, but you can say, I will call my dreams, or I can't wait to write down my dream tomorrow morning. Whatever it is that works for you. I just personally like, I will remember my dreams.
I must admit, there's something I sort of say every day, and it's about sort of bringing me guidance in my sleep and in my dreams. And it's just like, and it's what, because my gratitudes and everything that I sort of do towards the end of the day. And it's but I never do remember my dreams. But I'm thinking, do you know, it's like a meditation, if you like. You can be guided into a meditation, and you may hear everything that is said. You may be aware of everything, but you're not aware of anything. And there was a whole series of workshops that I did. The initial meditations at the very beginning of the series, I was very aware of what was happening in the meditation, and very surprised by the fact that I was able to be aware of those things. But the further down the road, I think we did a dozen different workshops further down, and she'd look at all of them. The whole lot of you went to sleep again. And I said, no, I wasn't asleep. I just feel that personally, whatever was happening in the meditation was being stored for when it is required. And I don't need to know, and I'm not meant to know at that point in time, but it will crop up. And I suppose that's how I feel about the guidance in my sleep and in my dreams bit, is because I've been saying that for a very long time, is just accepting the fact that if there is a download, it's downloaded into, whether you want to call it subconscious, whether you want to call it into the heart, the soul, or whatever you want to call it, it's downloaded, and it will be activated at the point in time that it is required. So that's a thought for people who are struggling with remembering dreams.
Right. And we can't remember every single dream. I mean, the bathroom dreams, like having to get up and, not finding a stall, or, where's the bathroom, or, finding a stall and the door's open and there's a bunch of people around. So obviously you don't want to go. A lot of times that is because you need to go. Okay. Not always, but that is. And we can't remember all our dreams or we'd go nuts. But the really powerful dreams, you'll remember. But just like anything else, I think it's important because, dreams are such an important part of my life. I think it's important to get in touch with them, and sometimes you will and sometimes you won't. And maybe for you, Sara, that's not your strong point, but for other people who are interested, I say keep going, because there are so many messages in our dreams. And, a good friend of mine, she does Jungian dream interpretation. I do a little, but there are times she goes, for a couple months and she gets frustrated because she doesn't remember her dreams. And then boom, all of a sudden they come. So everybody's different. But for those who want to remember your dreams, I think the intention, and doing that every day will bring it up. Because I remember this one man who bought my book. It was in person, and I gave him some tips, and he got in touch with me, and he's like, I'm remembering my dreams. It works. He was so excited.
I'm certainly going to give it a shot, because it would be interesting. It really would be. It really would, because I've had people sort of say to me, oh, I've had dreams, and I've said, oh, well, maybe it means that. But you talk about symbols in dreams, but you also comment that it depends on what you're going through, and your upbringing and your experiences, etc.
Right. Absolutely. Let me use. Well, you know what? I recently wrote a blog about bats, and I'm talking about the flying bats. Okay. I recently wrote about that, and your upbringing, okay, can matter. For example, like people who maybe their parents were really into bats and they had bat houses. That's a positive experience. Okay. I remember, I don't like vampire stuff. Okay. It always freaks me out. And I remember watching this old movie where Dracula turned into a vampire and was able to go into, and then turned into like little smoke and was able to go through like windows and doorways. And that totally freaked me out. So bats to me are scary. Okay. But to somebody else, maybe they had a bat caught in their hair or whatever. But the emotions, like if you see a bat in a dream and you're like, oh, this is so cool, you know, and some people think they're so cute. But if you're feeling scared, that could mean something different. But it also could mean that you're feeling, you know, somebody's driving you batty, somebody's driving you nuts, or you're around somebody who is batty, who's like a dipsy doodle, who doesn't really think, you know. It can also mean, one of the examples I used was like a baseball bat. So that's just one small example. And here's something, most people like dogs, okay? So dogs have many different meanings. They can be loyalty, okay? Unconditional love. They can also be ugly as a dog, okay? Or like a perverted someone, okay? Because dogs, you know, and like dogs hump on your leg. It could be your best friend. But with the emotion and your experience, you know, maybe it's your dog visiting you. I know a lot of my clients will say they can feel their dog or even a cat go up on the bed. My sister one time woke up, was waking up, and she heard her dog Snowy bark. And at first she thought he was there, but he had passed. Um, or they could represent, you know, your boss who, you know, just hounds you to death. So it's the emotion and your experience and everything else. Another thing it could be is your desire to have a dog or even a loyal friend, somebody who accepts you for who you are, because animals in general will accept you for who you are. My cats love me whether I have a good hair day or a bad hair day. So.
But that's the joy of animals, though, isn't it? It's their
Yes.
unconditional. They haven't got a judgment that humans have got. So that is brilliant. And although it wasn't a dream per se, sort of something happened, and I've connected with many mythical beings, vampire being one, but the werewolf being another. And at this particular time, I was watching a film, and it was called Man Wolf, and I hate those type of films, but I was doing this with an adult with learning difficulties, and it was the type of thing he liked to watch, and taking him to the cinema once a month. Oh, yes. And a scene came on, and it was just like, I can't watch this. I know exactly what's going to happen. And with horror movies, I think anybody who's watched enough of them knows exactly what's going to happen.
Right.
And I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to call on the werewolf. And I became aware of 3 wolves at the side of me.
Oh, neat.
Although it wasn't a dream, if you like, I suppose you might want to call it a waking dream. I don't know, but the sense of peace and calm that descended on me. But these are actually wolves that I've met in the physical. So it wasn't just any 3 wolves, because I used to be a candler at the UK Wolf Conservation Trust. And all 3 had passed, so they were no longer in the physical world. But I suddenly became aware of them. So I suppose I'm one of these people. I have more like waking dreams than sleeping dreams.
There's different stages of consciousness. I don't remember. I alpha, beta, and theta or something. I might be messing them up, but there's like right now we're aware. Obviously, we're in the waking world, because you don't want us going as we're doing a show, right? But there's like you said, like the meditative state where you feel calm and peaceful. And then like with hypnosis, it's similar to meditation, but you're going deeper, you know. And then at night you're real deep, but you know what, you're still aware. Like one of the things, like environment dreams that I was talking about, you know what's going on inside of you, because you might, like I remember dreaming I was at one of like a fast food restaurant that I used to work at, going like this, filling up my soda and guzzling it down, and I woke up thirsty. So there's inner dreams, But then there's outer dreams. And this is what when we were cavemen and cave women, we would sense like there was a saber-toothed tiger walking into the cave. And it's the same thing with our, you'll wake up and you'll sense somebody outside. I've heard so many of my clients say, I woke up and I was on the floor, but I had this dream I was falling, or I woke up and I dreamed that I was shivering, and I woke up and my covers were gone. So yeah, we're aware of these different stages. It's not just the waking one. I remember saying to one woman, this wasn't a client. This was years before I was in touch with my dreams, but I was still a dreamer. And I said to her, I said, well, what happens if right now we're dreaming, but when we're asleep, we're really awake? And the look of horror on her face that could even be a possibility. And she's like, don't say that. Don't say that. But how do we truly know? Like Shakespeare, I think it was Shakespeare who said, all the world is a stage. We don't really know.
Yeah. And something about, and we're all players. Yeah. But then I suppose it's that understanding that we are a soul having a physical experience. Exactly. And so they actually say, do you know what? None of this is really real. I have a wall at the side of me. It feels pretty solid and pretty real, but it's not real.
Yeah. But even if it's not real, let's make this the best play ever that we're participating in it. Let's enjoy it, My personal belief is, Earth is a giant schoolroom. Our dreams are a giant schoolroom. Everything that happens to us is a giant schoolroom. And our emotions are in that. That's why emotions are like so important in dreams. If we're feeling whiny in a dream, what's going on? Well, maybe, or sad or angry in a dream. Well, maybe you didn't process your anger that day. That could be it. So I really feel emotions are so important in the dreams, not just to understand the meaning, but also to process that out of you. But yeah, let's make it the best stage we can do.
Let's make it the best dream, and it's a very long one.
It is. It is. God, decades.
Absolutely. So you put a comment here, and it says, why dreams bypass our denial.
Okay, and I kind of touched upon that with the feelings. Okay. All right. Here, let me think of one. Well, one of the dream people asked me about, I had a cheating dream. Is it real? Okay. And a cheating dream can mean many things. And so let's say you're at work and this is a simple one, and you go into the stockroom and you take some pens because you're entitled. You work for that, right? But then that night you have a dream that your significant other is cheating on you. Okay. So really, even though you felt entitled at the moment, there was a part of you who knew that was wrong. Okay. So that's how it kind of bypasses your denial. We talked earlier about the PTSD dreams. Okay. And I'm going to use a military person who, went to war, went through some, how to kill people or saw people being killed, and came back and said, I don't need to deal with that. Well, I'm sorry, but you do. You do need to you need to talk to somebody about that, and whether that's childhood stuff or whatever. So what happens is it bypasses our denial because our dream time doesn't care that you don't want to remember this stuff, that you don't want to deal with this, that you don't want to feel this, and you don't want to heal this. It's saying this is for your higher good. So here we go. Let's play this over again and again and again. Right. And I'm making light of it, but that's it true. Or maybe go back to, someone cheating on you. Okay. Maybe it's an actual thing and you've been denying that someone is cheating on you. Or maybe they're not physically cheating on you, but the relationship isn't going the way it is, or possibly maybe you want to cheat on them. Okay, so that's some examples of how they bypass our denial. And again, your dreams, your subconscious mind, you can call it God, Goddess, higher source, wants you to deal with this stuff because we're on this school, again, earth room. The earth is a giant schoolroom. For you to, even though it's a stage, you need to work on your stuff on the stage so you can go and hop onto a better stage.
And live your life fuller and happier. And and it is about dealing with old stuff, isn't it? And so with you, it came to you in your dreams. With other people, it may come with some sort of physical ailment. And it's remembering. So if you get us in the situation in your dreams where you've got loads of throat problems, if you physically got loads of throat problems, it's because there's a lack of maybe being honest, not saying something, not admitting something to yourself and speaking out loud and just coming to terms with honesty.
Right. And it can also be boundaries. This one client had a dream where she was, sticking her hand down her throat. Okay. And I knew she had a lot of problems with her mom. And she thought it was the weirdest thing. And I said, no, you're blocking your truth from your mom. You need to get unblocked and tell her the truth and make some boundaries, because in the dream, obviously it was scary. If you see your hand coming down your throat, that's a little scary. And it wasn't to throw up, it was, it kept going. So yeah. So you definitely do need to deal with your stuff because it comes up.
Yeah, and different parts of the body are different suggestions, are different nudges of different things.
Right.
Yeah, sort of ears. Are you listening? Eyes. Are you really seeing? Hips and knees and shoulders and neck. They're all different things. Different parts of your body relate to different areas of your life. You want to think about your chakras. The lower chakras are to do usually with childhood. So I suppose it's opening up to what's happening in your dreams. And it's finding support, finding a way of a translation of that.
Okay. I'm not exactly sure what the question is, but yes, it is opening. Your dreams are showing you kind of what do you need to work on? That's and sometimes, they obviously, it's not just that they give you solutions and other things, but what do you need to deal with? What do you need to work on? But also like with your eyes, like this one woman, her eyes, she submitted when I used to write for Bella Spree. I remember this because it was such a cool dream. She had a dream where her eyes turned purple, but she felt okay. And immediately what I picked up, it was like you're seeing more with spirituality, and since it's right here, your third eye is opening up more and more, so dreams of, and so that's what she needed to work on. And that was something fun for her to work on. But absolutely, your dreams are there to say, hey, you need to go in this direction.
And so then colors in dreams. Colors can actually sort of mean things.
Why not? And numbers too. Why not? Colors like, think about it. Black usually means sorrow or, or a funeral or something. Although personally, I kind of like black. Black also feels slimming. All right. So you could have a dream where you're all dressed in black. It doesn't mean you're going to go to a funeral. Maybe you're down in the dumps, or maybe you've only been looking at, the white side, and you need to look at the black or the dark side of things. So sure, numbers have meaning. Everything has meaning in dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but nightmares, could they be a gift in disguise? Because in life, you get something happen, sort of like my broken jaw, which actually became a real blessing and a real gift, because the 6 months of pain and sleepless night woke me up to my life. So nightmares, and I think I'd prefer to have had a nightmare than than what I went through. But yes, there are many things in life that appear to be tough that actually can be a real gift.
Oh yeah, nightmares. I have a quote where nightmares are a gift, and of course it's escaping me right now. But I remember putting it up like in Pinterest, and I had some people really get really angry at me, like they're not a gift, they're horrible, and why you're going through them, they're not. But they force you to look at what you need to deal with. Okay, and so that might not feel good. Like you dream, let's go back to the cheating spouse, or you dream that that you have health problems or whatever. Well, that cheating spouse, the dream about your spouse cheating on you, which is for many of us is a nightmare, is really waking you up to the fact that your relationship needs some work here. Okay, they might not be cheating on you, but there's obviously some issues going on, or a health problem might be alerting to you, like, hey, you need to, as you said, speak up. You need to maybe exercise more. You need to see a doctor, so they really are. You ever hear that saying? I don't know, because you're in the UK and I'm in the States, but like God, goddess, whatever you want to call you, is trying to get your attention. So they're going to hit you with a feather a few times, right? And then you're not getting. So they're going to like, come on, tap you a little harder. And finally, they're going to take a baseball bat and go whack. And and that's kind of what nightmares are. They're really whacking you, that like, hey, you need to do something about this. You need to get out of this relationship. You need to stop taking abuse. Now, if you have a nightmare, like I had a nightmare that when I was a child, after watching, Dracula turn into smoke and go through the crack of my windows, and I spent hours looking at my doors and windows. That's a different kind of nightmare. That's kind of like an environment dream. It was triggered by a TV show. That's different. But if a nightmare comes out of nowhere, it's time to look at it, and especially if it's a recurring.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's fascinating how. Okay, I am going to share one. It's not actually mine.
Okay.
It's my youngest sister's, and she'd just changed her youngest son's surname from the one given to him at birth to that of his actual father. And I think it was literally the night after, or a couple of nights after, and she had this horrendous dream, and she did consider it a nightmare, where she found him laying face down in a pool of water. And he died. And I remembered, and she told me about it.
And he passed in the dream?
Yes, he passed in the dream. And I must admit, I just said to her, Jackie, you've just told me you've changed his surname. So it's the old moving out of the way to make way for the new. Nothing is going to happen to him.
Right.
And gratefully, that she was comfortable with that. But it would be interesting, because that would be a nightmare for any parent.
Oh yeah. But it's also, yes, I agree that it's like a like the death card in tarot. It's a transformation. But what's interesting, in the bowl of water and with the water, okay, it's like he's facing getting emotionally cleansed, or cleansing who he was in the past to become anew. Okay, either that, or he needs to face something. Okay, he needs to face his emotions because they're dead. That's another way that you could look at that dream. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do believe because the name changed, that makes, and thank you. You just pointed out something. You just reminded me of something. You need to, like, when interpreting your dream, you do need to look at what's going on in your life, how it relates to your past or your present, and the issues that you had. So that's really important. But I think it's really neat that you figured that out so quickly. And obviously he's still alive, your nephew. So.
Oh, yes. And changed his name back again.
Well, if the nephew's watching, hey, nephew.
So whereas my younger sister has been on programs with me, so her name's definitely out and about there. I am a little bit careful about the rest of the family. It's being respectful of them, but it was just one of the things, and she was scared to say anything to anybody, but it really had worried her. And so if you've had a dream and you are worried, as you just said, it's really important to what else has been going on.
Right.
Could it just be yes, as you said, the death card in tarot is the end of one, but it's about, is the death card really the end of something, or is it the beginning of something new? And is that what the dreams can be about?
Yes, but I also want to say that and I know it happens for me and for some of my clients, that dreaming of somebody dying could actually be a prediction in the future. Not always. I don't want to scare anybody, but it could be letting you know that an upcoming death is happening. I had it with my cat Merlin and Midnight and my mom, and just like nightmares, I feel like these are a gift too, because they're showing you, like, hey, get in touch with these people, spend time with them. Actually, with Merlin, one of the first, because I had several, one of the first dreams I had of him, that I was still in denial that there was something, but he came up to me and he rubbed up against me, and like telepathically he told me, I want to spend more time with you. Okay. So yeah, sometimes they are they're like a precognitive dream, like this is going to happen, and other times they're not. And how do you know? Because I'm sure that I'm intuitively getting, how do you know? So somebody must be wondering, how do you know? Sometimes it's a feeling. And quite honestly, sometimes you just have to let time pass.
Yeah. It's trusting that there is a process to life.
Right.
And sometimes you are, I'm going to use the word blessed, to be given information potentially in advance.
Yes.
Supporting you through what's coming. If that's, what's going on for you at that point in time. And none of us know, because there are people who dream about things and who've been able to say, but I saw that tsunami, I saw that building fall down, I saw whatever. But they always sort of say it after the event, so it's very difficult to know. But I'm sure there genuinely are people that have dreams that foretell something that is going to happen, and it's feeling comfortable, I suppose, and confident enough with yourself to be able to live with it, I suppose.
Right. Well, and I want to say, the more now here's a good reason to write down your dreams and remember them, because you do get, I like to say, it's a heads up for the future, but people call them premonition or precognitive dreams. And they do give you insights of what's going to happen. Now with the tsunami or whatever, you can't control that. And certain things you can't control, but it's, time is kind of an illusion, but it gives us some insights of what's going to happen so we can prepare for it. Now, the reason why it's good to like write down your dreams and to remember your dreams is that, as I said, sometimes there's a knowing, just like during the day, something's going to happen. You can't explain it. Sometimes in the dream, there's a knowing. Sometimes it's very symbolic, so it's kind of hard to put it together. Is this going to happen? Okay. But that's why it's good to write it down. Okay, so when it does happen, you can say, aha. So the next time when you have a dream like that, you can say, this is a precognitive dream. Now, we're going to use your sister's example. I don't know how much she dreams, but having a dream like that, obviously she might not be in touch with her precognitive dreams, or she, or she is. But when it comes to someone dying, it's always scary. So yes, there is a feeling, and then it is a gift because you can act on it. And so let's say you have a dream that your mother, father, grandparents are going to die, and they don't die. Okay, well, at least you got to spend some extra time with them, or you have a dream that something's going on in your house, right? Well, go and get it checked out, even if it isn't that way. And when you mentioned earlier, it's a gift of knowing, like, cancer is really hard. Like Merlin had some kind of cancer. I didn't get all the tests done, and that was really hard, but at least I knew from the dreams and stuff and the way he was to spend extra time with him. So sometimes instead of like a quick death, but I guess, as you mentioned earlier, everything happens for a reason.
Yes. Oh, absolutely, it does. And this has been sort of fascinating. It really has. And we're coming close to the end of time for the program. Yes, absolutely. It's flown by. But is there anything that we haven't touched on that you think you'd like to share?
Well, what's coming to mind is because some of my most popular blogs are dreams of the deceased, and how do you know that they actually visited you? And usually, quite honestly, it's like a visit. You might not say anything, you might have a few words, but it feels like you're kind of hanging out with them. So that, and the other thing, the last thing I want to say is, pay attention to your dreams. Okay, they tell you about who you are. And that's so important.
Yeah, no, I've just put your website up in the chat for anybody. But thank you so much, folks. Please, if you're interested in your dreams, contact and learning more about dreams. And you have got a book as well, haven't you? So
yeah,
actually, I would say.
Learn the Secret Language of Dreams and Got Dreams, Discover Your Idea Dream Journal. So
there's a couple of website links there. I will make sure these are under the video. So folks, yeah, and please feel free, because I'm sure there a contact you page on your website.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I have services and everything else, and tons of blogs you can read too, because I love to write.
Yeah. And you're going to write me one, are you, for the website?
Yes, I haven't forgotten. It's just
excellent. So there'll be some information up on here, sort of at some stage. Pamela, thank you so much, folks. It's PamelaCummins.com is the website. So please do feel free to connect with and get in touch with Pamela, and open up to your dreams. I actually really do wish I remembered my dreams.
You are remembering your dreams. You are remembering your dreams. You are remembering your dreams.
I am remembering my dreams. I am remembering my dreams. I am remembering my dreams. I'm going to have to create a new affirmation.
There you go.
But it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom, and supporting people to sort of realize that there's probably more to an awful lot of our life than we actually realize.
Yes, there are. I want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and a pleasure getting to know you, because we've talked a few times before. So
yeah, no,
thank you for this.
No, it's been my pleasure. It really has. Next week, we have another Today's Conversation for you. Oops, not on that page, I haven't. I was getting your website information. It's on the wrong page. Next week, another today's conversation, cultivating the soil of your sacred self, with Nancy Stevens, myself, and Patricia. And then the following week, Crave More Life with Diana Leader. And that's just a general Gift of Healing TV program. So I hope you'll join us for those, and explore Pamela's website, explore the Gift of Healing TV website. You know, there's an awful lot of free stuff. There's an awful lot of stuff that can help you and support you, whatever you're going through. That's why we share these programs and my guests come on. We are here to support you. So thank you again, Pamela. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Okay, yeah. And thank you everyone for listening too. May you have sweet dreams.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Take care and thank you so much.
Right.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.